Hey, what's up y'all? I'm back with another video. Seeing as I've been covering a lot of profession-based gold farms recently, and have been creating content geared towards beginner gold farming, I figured I would create a guide on how you can make some serious cheddar with classic skinning. In this video, I plan on explaining how you can go from classic skinning level 1 to 300 in under 10 minutes, as well as 5 of the best classic era skinning farming locations in World of Warcraft. From 2 of the easiest hyperspawn farms you'll ever try, to a questionably ethical humanoid farm in the middle of a zone that no one goes to, I'm going to show you how to make millions of gold with classic skinning. Anyways, let's just get right into it. The first thing you're going to need to do if you want to farm classic skinning is level the profession. To learn skinning, I would recommend visiting Maris Granger, located here in the Old Town district of Stormwind. You can also talk to Leon Farmer, located here in Goldshire, to learn skinning as well. I would recommend these two since they're humans, making them infinitely more trustworthy than someone else. After learning classic skinning, you're going to want to meander on over to Mulgore, where you'll be able to find hyperspawning boars that you will be able to level your skinning to max in under 10 minutes. This is mostly due to the fact that most of them won't drop loot, skipping the need to wait for the looting animation and process. Unfortunately, however, they do only drop ruin leather scraps, so if you're not willing to lose out on 10 minutes worth of skins that have value, then maybe you'd rather try an alternative and conveniently the first farm I'd like to visit. The first classic era skinning farm I wanted to show y'all is located here in the wetlands. Now, while this is actually a very well established wool farm, as well as a secret transmog farm that I may save for another video, there's actually a means to make even more gold from skinning the dragon spawn mobs. The mobs here are on a forced spawn rate, meaning that it's quite literally impossible to run out of kills so long as you're playing the game. The mobs here skin for medium leather, which is currently listing for a pretty well respectable price. Farming this location for an hour yielded 1,728 leather for a total value of around 7,200 gold. I was also able to farm over 1,700 cloth as well as 108 pieces of transmog, bringing my actual gold per hour rate to around 296,000 gold per hour, which is one of the highest I've seen while farming in a long time, just short of some of my Northwatch Expedition base camp sessions, but hey, that's for another time. Now, like I mentioned in the cut before this section, you can actually pretty efficiently level your skinning from 1 to 300 here. It'll just take slightly longer, seeing as you'll have to move significantly more, and seeing as all the mobs have loot, we'll have to take the time to stop and loot before skinning, adding to the time it will take for you to truly begin farming. The next classic era skinning farm that I wanted to cover is located here in Ungoro Crater, where you'll be farming the ravasaurs. This farm is generally seen as an alternative to the way more popular Sunken Temple skinning farm. However, with the current price of rugged leather sinking faster than the Titan submersible, I figured I'd throw in a farm for the much more stable and superior thick leather, whose price hasn't budged in over a decade. Now, unlike the wetlands farm, you're not going to be getting nearly as many trade goods or transmog, but that can be overlooked by the sheer value and volume of skins that you're going to receive from this farm. Farming here for an hour yielded me 629 skins for a total value of around 9,000 gold per hour. Of the transmog and materials that I did manage to receive from the ravasaurs, the items that I acquired totaled to a value of around 180,000 gold for a combined gold per hour value of 195,000, which, while not as impressive as the wetlands farm, proved to be significantly more realistic and stable of a number, making it slightly more beginner friendly in my opinion. The next classic era skinning farm that I wanted to show is located here in Feralis, where you're farming Yetis. Now, personally, I'm not interested in getting into the ethics behind skinning Yetis for leathers, even if the value is enough to be competitive with current expansion prices. But I think that I'll let y'all decide if it's cool or not. Let me know in the comments what you think. The mobs here, being of the humanoid variety, drop a handful of trade goods as well as decent greens that fetch even decenter prices, meaning that you're looking to make some slight bonus gold while farming for skins. They also spawn pretty quickly, meaning you shouldn't have an issue getting kills while running around attempting to absolve yourself of the crimes against humanity you're committing. Farming this location for an hour yielded me 733 leathers, including 684 light leather and 49 medium leather, for a total of around 3,800 gold per hour. Between trade goods and transmog, I was able to acquire a total of around 75,400 gold in looted item value, mostly thanks to a handful of blue transmog pieces, for a combined 79,200 gold per hour, which is not half bad in my opinion if I do say so myself. After you're done washing the blood from your hands, the next classic era skinning farm that I would recommend you give a go is a classic, being the Onyxia's Lair Rugged Leather Farm, which you can find here at Dustwallow Marsh if you had no idea where Onyxia's Lair is somehow. Now, the route for this instance is quite hard, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the screen momentarily for you, the viewer, in order to help you memorize it, which will allow me to explain it easier. Got it? Now that you've figured out the route, you're going to be able to farm the instance. It usually takes a minute or two to run, meaning that you're able to farm just a metric ton of rugged leather from it, which, while isn't at a particularly impressive price point, will more than make up for it in sheer volume of skins that you'll get. Think of it as the Vigil's Torch of classic WoW, low price, but super easy to acquire high volumes of. Doing this farm for an hour yielded me a total of 1,527 skins, for a total of around a pretty mind-blowing 4,000 gold in value. This is a farm that I would recommend beginners try out, just to get used to things such as instance resets, as well as grinding an instance for items in bulk, and then being disappointed by the actual realistic price of them, which is extremely useful for gold farms a little higher on the learning curve. The last classic era skinning farm that I wanted to showcase is located here in the Southern Barrens, where you'll be farming raptors. Now, these raptors have an instant respawn, meaning that in a group, you can technically farm these guys infinitely, much like the goat farm in the Valley of the Four Winds, if you're catching what I'm throwing. Now, much like rugged leather, the medium leather that drops from these guys isn't anything to write home about as far as value goes, which is why bringing a friend or two is pretty important in my opinion, seeing as it will allow you to take advantage of the forced spawn mechanic, maximizing the amount of medium leather that you can juice out of these guys for hours and hours. Freakiness aside, farming this location for an hour yielded me 877 skins for a total of around 5,500 gold in value. Between trade goods and transmog, however, I was able to acquire a total of around 390,000 gold in looted item value, mostly from a handful of rare recipes and several 5-digit transmog pieces for a combined 395,000 gold per hour, which is okay. Nothing to write home about, to be honest. Like I was saying earlier though, I would recommend doing this farm with a friend or group of friends, since you'll be able to take full advantage of the forced spawn mechanic and can push your earnings even higher. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I have some pretty high effort content in the works at the moment, so I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe so you could stay tuned for what I'm working on. Also, as I've been saying in most of my recent videos, not only to fill time for that sweet algorithm boost, but also just to promote it, my official Discord server is open. If you want to join, there's a link to a short but informative PowerPoint presentation in the description below that has the join link at the end. I have some more beginner-esque gold farm videos on the way, so make sure to stay tuned in, and with that all being said, as always, peace.